Welcome to Across the Desk and our new series in partnership with Maddie Dever, the Autistic Rambler. Maddie is a non-binary autistic advocate engaged in political advocacy, a parent of 5, and a very funny person. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about, and we look forward to you joining the conversation. Now let's get to rambling. Betty? Betty is on a tear.
The wonderful things about Betty's. The Betty's are wonderful things.
So speaking of today's topic,
Uh-huh.
which was not, good morning and welcome to Across the Desk. My name is Elizabeth Plouffe and I am the hostess of Across the Desk. We were just being very posh, so that will make sense in a second. And my ever-loving Betty, Maddie Dever, is
Bonjour.
has only had 3 sips of coffee, so this can go a little squirrely. Well, we'll think positive. We'll think positive. And speaking of positive, oh, you just super glugged. Well done.
No, actually, I got nothing. It was too hot, so my tongue went, no.
Nope, not today, Satan. The sweet nectar of
Not
coffee
today,
beans.
Santa. I don't need any of your candy canes.
Oh, dirty bird. Triggered somebody somewhere. That's not cool. Pondered upon. So speaking of pondering, so one of the reasons we're kind of jumping in. So normally our process is Betty and I have probably a 15-minute pre-con flab about just our day and what have you. However, both of us are running around like chickens with our ass on fire. So, oh yeah, little rabbit foo-foo all over the place. However, as Betty shared beforehand, what did it pondered upon?
Pondered upon. I've been pondered upon.
Yeah. So Maddie got pondered upon in another situation, but we have been pondering a topic that irritates the crap out of both of us.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're here to share the crap about imposter syndrome.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, man.
Not to be confused with imposter syndrome, where you are wondering whether this is a noodle or whether this is something you do not want to eat. There we go. So
no, that one didn't fly.
Okay, well, let's pause.
The day is young,
and that get cut. There we go.
We don't do that.
I know you don't, but we can pretend we do.
We can pretend we edit professionally. No, we do not.
This last minute has been brought to you by the cutting floor.
Yes. This last minute has been brought to you by lack of sleep.
I redeemed the last minute. Okay.
You did. Well done. Well done. So a couple of months ago, or I shouldn't say that, a couple of years ago, 2013, I became an entrepreneur. And Maddie's been an entrepreneur longer than me. But here's what I'm finding interesting about that whole process is that as a woman, if I feel any kind of trepidation or nervousness or whatever about what I'm doing, what I get told is, oh, you have imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be some F-bombs. We're going to do a foul language warning because it fucking pisses me off. And
I don't get a flying flock. The birds do, though.
Flying flock, right. Mother flockers. So at the time, it was people who were, wiser than me telling me this. So I was like, oh, damn, I got some kind of fucking syndrome. Like, oh, damn, I must be sick or I really must not be here because imposter immediately triggered lying, right? Like you're a liar if you're an imposter. And like my top value in life is honesty. So anytime you tell me I'm lying, I'm like, yeah, this is like, I have a panic attack. So years and years go by, right? I've been an entrepreneur for over 10 years now, actually longer than that, but anyway. And I'm one of those weirdos who sort of has an idea and just goes ahead and does it, one of those. And of course that's because I'm doing something weird or new or that nobody else is doing, which has been most of my life. And of course that's going to trigger big feelings. Has anybody seen Mean Girls? Have you seen Mean Girls?
Oh, have I seen Mean Girls? Yes. I mean, Lindsay Lohan was,
Thebomb.com. Right.
Yeah.
So you know that scene where they're in the gym and the young lady is up there and she's like, so I would like to go back when we were in public school and we all got along and butterflies and rainbows and whatever. And Tina Fey's like, do you even go here? And the girl's like, no.
Tina Fey, okay, so honestly, one of the best writing she ever did was that movie.
Mean Girls?
She really got the understanding of not just how she felt in high school, but the peers around her and the cliques 100%. And the drama and the lines between, you know, like, it was the
intersectionalities of
it was both
fast regions and
interesting, you know, from you know, a life experience. It doesn't matter who you were, you could find somebody in that movie that you related to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So this girl gets up on this stage. So everybody's supposed to be getting up and sharing their whatevers because a lot of controversy and tension has been created. And this girl gets up, has her moment, and then in response, she says, "No, I just have some big feelings." So when you're doing something new and weird and different and you're challenging the status quo, you are going to have some big feelings. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you don't belong there. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be there. That doesn't mean you're trying to pull something over on somebody. That just means you're having some big feelings and you're taking some big chances, and that causes a lot of big whatevers. Don't tell me I'm an imposter.
So let's unpack the phrase. Okay. What imposter syndrome,
I know,
is meant to do is say the feelings that you have of not being sure that either you belong here or that you're as equally worthy as other people that are on this stage or in this thing. The feelings of unsurety are not uncommon. So the fact that we're calling it a syndrome is
just say that, but why? I'm sorry.
It's the 80s, 90s need to psychobabble everything.
Thank you. So here's the funny thing.
It's like taking an idea behind something and throwing a label at it that sounds, psychoceutical, so somebody can go on the talk show things and talk about it. Yes. But the thing behind it, the feeling behind it, the feeling of like, how did I get here? Am I?
Did I do this? Like, did I actually make this happen? Like, this is really cool, but should I? Right.
So for many women and many autistics, hence the intersection here.
Yeah.
We have had many times where we may have been in the same situation and then the rug gets pulled out from under us.
Right.
Which creates that, that cascading feeling of, like, if it's happened once,
of unworthiness.
Yes. And there's that hesitancy. So if all of a sudden after 7 or 8 times the rug, you've had Lucy pull the football away from you.
Damn that Lucy. She's such a bitch.
Then you're in a place and you're wondering, when is the football going to be pulled? It gets harder and harder to actually see, acknowledge, accept, and relish the success that you're experiencing that is from yourself.
That was pretty. So I'm not in any way invalidating the feelings, right? What I find intriguing, I did a little social experiment. So here's 2 social experiments about this. So I live in Burlington. In a neighboring town of Hamilton, city of Hamilton, there is a store called Princess Auto. And quite frankly, it's got princess in the title. So huzzah, right? That should be a chick hangout. It is not. So Princess Auto specializes in hunting equipment, gardening equipment, tools, farming equipment. Like, it's a weird surplusy kind of situation. Right. So I go in there because I'd have to drop my son off in Hamilton. And I'm like, ooh, Princess Auto. There's fun stuff in there for me. But you would have thought, and this is how I wrote about it somewhere, that I had gone into like a Scooby-Doo hideout because it was all men, right? There was only women behind the counter. It's all men cruising the floor.
Yes, this
I
is
immediately
the post
get
that I commented on. Said, I'm new. Let's talk about it.
Right. So I immediately get side balls from people going like, "What is?"
Okay, those balls, got it.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Gross.
Nobody
whipped their.
Well, you got side boobs, right?
Valid. No boobs were harmed in the making of this social experiment. So I'm walking around and I immediately spy a pair of extendable loppers. Well, I take care of the cedar hedges and other things in my house, and my husband keeps hiding my loppers. And I'm short. These are extendable. That's exciting. That's the first thing on my arm, right? Great big honkin' industrial. Pardon me?
Did you name them Cindy?
No, but I will now. Because girls just want to have fun.
Exactly.
And that was all I was there about. Then I found right. I found some really great hooks that they were going to be great to hang up my garden tools because my husband keeps putting my tools away by dumping them somewhere. And I'm like, all right, I need to organize some shit here. Then I just bought an air gun. I am not pro gun. Let's just be clear before anybody has a trigger moment. I do not agree with having guns in the household. I do not agree with owning firearms, like a bullet firearm. There's no need in our society to have a firearm in your house.
Yep.
In Canada anyway.
Yep.
Unless you're living in the Northwest Territories and bears are a thing.
Yeah, or on a reserve.
Something to that. If you're in danger of a bear eating your face, have a gun.
Yeah,
but
you only have the right to bear arms, not human arms.
Exactly.
And not even in Canada.
Not even in Canada. Thank God for that. Like, I live in Burlington. The chances of a bear eating my face are pretty small.
Yeah.
So an air gun, however, I use for relaxation and target practice. As I am walking through Princess Auto, what do I spy but multiple forms of targets? So I now have loppers, hooks, and a target in my arms.
Oh, I saw a guy with an air gun shoot up like 9. It was a reel, and there's like 9 things that went up in the air, and within 5 seconds, all 9 of them were shot individually in a row. I'm like, oh my God! Like, I don't like guns, but that was cool.
It was cool. You have to pull back and pull in because you're gone fuzzy again.
I'm not gone fuzzy.
You have.
I'm not fuzzy. You are. I'm not fuzzy.
You are.
I'm fuzzy.
So I know you are. So I'm walking around. I have the loppers, the hooks, and the targets. The side balls are getting heavy now. Like, people are not coming down the same aisle as me because arms are full of all of these things. And it wasn't until I left and thought that was really weird. Like, it was palpable, people giving me a wide berth. That I'm like, oh, maybe like it's a little bit of the upset of the patriarchy. Like, how dare a woman come into Princess Auto and have these things, and what's she going to do with those? So I thought I might have scared them a little bit. That's fair. I did not feel like an imposter at this point. Then
you had all the stuff.
Damn straight I had the stuff. And I used my loppers and it was great. So then this things keep popping up about imposter syndrome, and it just all within like a 48-hour period. There was somebody doing a Facebook or a LinkedIn Live about it, and then there was an article about it, and then I was like, what is going on? To me, imposter syndrome, and this is based on a video, and the lady's name is escaping me, but I'll try and share the link. And it's all based on this Victorian model of diagnosing women with a thing called bicycle face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And basically, it was women asserting their independence. Once bicycles were made broadly available, you're still really, there you are. And they were able to go to jobs. They were able to leave their families for a short period of time. And men did not like that at all. And I'm not being sexist or against men. I love my husband. I love my son. Nothing like that. But the fact remains, we still live in a patriarchal society, and there are powers that be that object to women, having any kind of independence.
So much medical terminology, like
is meant to subjugate a group.
Yeah, let's take apart the word hysteria, right? Where does it come?
Did you watch that movie? Okay, there is a movie out on Netflix. So, folks, to tie into this, it ties together and to what Betty's saying right now.
Okay.
There is a movie on Netflix. Hugh Dancy Rupert Everett and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Jonathan somebody. Yeah. It is called hysteria.
Okay.
And back in Victorian England, women were diagnosed if they had strong opinions, if they were disruptors, if they were suffragists, they were diagnosed in court with hysteria.
Yes.
And could be remanded into a sanatorium and mandatorily sterilized.
Yep.
Guess what the treatment for hysteria was at the time?
A hysterectomy.
No, a hand job.
Oh, that's right. But the term hysteria comes from there's a connection, and it's escaped me. So
it'll come back.
Yeah, but a lot of the terminology that we have comes from the negative objectifying of women and pathologizing anything that women would do that would
upset the patriarchy.
Upset the patriarchy. Take away the ownership and property of men, and it is. This is one of the reasons why we need to move fully away from the medical model of disability, because so much terminology, so much pathologizing of things makes things worse. And the language is such a freaking barrier, and we end up with like all of the isms you see them fully enmeshed in the language we use in the medical world, as well as the current the way many male doctors treat women or people of color or people with disabilities is so infused by the ideology of the 1800s and 1900s. Not like it in that's one area. They seem to be okay in talking down to women, talking over women, taking away the control of women over their own bodies. And we see this in the whole concept of abortion and reproductive rights. This is one area that men keep saying, no, but hey, medically, no, buddy, we still need
find
to
me
control
a state.
This.
Find me a country that interferes with any kind of what's it called? Oh my God, I'm having a moment. Sorry. When you cut your balls.
Castration.
No, before that. Vasectomy.
Are you talking about
vasectomy?
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say it again because it's a bit creepy. But find me a country in the world.
Measure twice, cut once.
That regulates. That's true, though. That's very true, and I'll tell you why. Because a friend of mine ended up with a kid because of a botched vasectomy.
Yeah.
But find me a country that mandates or regulates men's reproductive and vasectomies, and either says no, you can't have it, or no, you can. Yep. And I have to tell you, folks, you can't have a baby without some sperm.
Yeah,
they're happening somewhere. Anyway,
so in some countries, and Canada used to, we did when it came to people with disabilities, men and women.
I know.
So
mandatory
sterilization.
We're getting a little off topic here, but anyway.
We're talking about the
pathologizing of behavior and feelings, right?
And when it comes down to it, I mean, imposter syndrome is a it's a
pathologization of a normal feeling and reaction,
because it's not a real thing. It's not a DSM thing. It is a way to account for an experience in language that can make you feel like when you think you have it, then you can't sometimes get past it because you use that as a crutch, and it becomes it hobbles you more than it strengthens you to be able to go on.
I love you so much right now, like you have no idea. I mean, you do, but so I did another social experiment with this, right? Okay. So I found an article from the Harvard Business Review, which I love and read quite frequently, and 75% of women executives said they feel that they have imposter syndrome. Now, first of all, if the term didn't exist, you wouldn't know you had it. You just be
Exactly.
like, I'm doing some big shit right now, and I'm
Yeah.
feeling a little scared about that.
Yeah.
54% of male executives have never experienced any form of imposter syndrome or whatever ever. So I was like, color me curious. So I happened to be walking by a colleague. I'm in a tech incubator in Burlington called Tech Place, and it's a lovely, diverse group, right? So a lot of different cultures are represented. LGBTQ is in here. Like, it's great. So I walk by Andrew's office, and he's an entrepreneur, and he's breaking new ground in geothermal heating of buildings and things like that. And I said, so Andrew, just, question. I'm like, have you ever felt imposter syndrome? I shit you not. He turns around, or like he's already turned around looking at me, and he looks at me ever so puzzled. What is that? I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
So then my business partner, Jason, comes in. And Jason's fantastic in that he's very open-minded. He has a very low bullshit meter, which is great. And so we start talking about imposter syndrome. Now, at first, he's like, no, that's not what it means. Like, it actually is, this is, and I'm like, okay, step away from the psychobabble bullshit for a second.
Yeah.
And it was him that said, imposter syndrome is a way for life coaches and personal coaches to pathologize and make money.
Yep.
Because you can't make money off of telling somebody, yep, it's normal to feel that way.
It's an imposter label.
It is an imposter label.
Yeah. It's like there's several layers of what's the movie where you just not Deception,
Inception?
Inception. Thank you. It's like you sometimes people see a thing, they want to account for the thing, so they put a label on the thing. Then then they assign people to the label, and then they have to help the people with the label to prove that the label exists on the person. And like there's a nugget of truth in all the things, but you really need to Rubik's Cube yourself to see the actual reality of things.
I love that analogy, the Rubik's cubing of yourself. Oh, did I just tell Siri to say something?
Yeah, Siri decided to find something on the web based on what I said.
Newsy bitch. So, but so Jason and I got into a bit of a, and I got quite passionate about it. And by passionate, I mean loud, because I was like, no.
You're at DEFCON 4, sir.
Oh, seriously. I was like War Games trying to launch the missiles, and there's going to be a no-win situation here. A lot of movie references today. Damn, we're on fire. So here's my challenge, is that this woman, and I'm sorry I don't have the name handy, but I will find the video, talked about how things like bicycle face and imposter syndrome have been designed to subjugate groups. Mm-hmm. Why can't we just acknowledge? So I've taken this, like, I'm going DEFCON whatever, like next level, and I've actually contacted people to do an anti-imposter syndrome workshop. We got to get rid of this term. Mm-hmm. We have to get rid of this term, because not only does it subjugate people like me, who for the most part operate in the world in a typical way, but then you have individuals who are already overcoming barriers that they've faced for most of their existence. They go out and try something new. They say they're anxious or they're whatever, and then we're adding another effing label on them.
Yeah.
Which further makes them feel like they shouldn't have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why? We'd think we're doing them a favor. Yeah. But if you look up the definition of imposter, and I don't care if you add syndrome after it to make it better, because that was Jason's thing. Oh, well, it's a syndrome. And I'm like, no. Look at imposter. The definition of imposter is intentionally engaging in deceit to commit a fraudulent act.
Yeah.
Adding syndrome doesn't change that.
It is the way that people are making you feel. It's not about how you feel. So one of the things that I've said, I do a lot of talk, a lot of workshops and presentations on language and strength-based language, and one of the things that I have said again and again and again is labels are great when they help you get through doors, when they open doors, but when they close doors or create more obstacles, they are the most dangerous things in the universe.
They're also itchy if they're in your underwear. So if we keep that,
I mean, and just like Kermit, I have to rip it out. That's the one.
That one was not
my
great.
mom, my mom used to get so frustrated because the moment I'd get new clothes, within a day I'd rip the tag out, and I cannot handle tags on my body. I need things.
Not many people can,
Oh,
right? Like, here's the thing. So many t-shirts. So here's an analogy about change. No, this is for real.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, right? So I'm born pre-1980. That's all I'll tell you. And
me too.
Woohoo! And labels were in everything, right? So as time has gone on,
part of the X Factor. Go on,
Betty, get on board. Come on. As time has gone on, I have noticed anyway that labels have gotten, especially in underwear. Who puts a label in underwear, by the way?
It's
so weird.
The worst place.
Worst place, because that's gonna anyway. But now they just print it onto the fabric, right? So a lot of t-shirts now, it's screen printed on.
Yep. Only
underwear, screen printed on. Pajamas, right? It's like, who wears polyester pajamas? So weird.
Yeah.
If we can change how clothing is labeled in response to the fact that it irritated people, right? One, it's cost savings because you don't have to create the label and you just screen print it on. But two, I'm sure there was enough feedback. Who here, after you've worn a t-shirt once or twice, it's yours. I cut the labels out. I've had friends come up to me in public places. Can you find a pair of scissors? Because labels can be itchy.
Yeah.
And they irritate and they make the experience unpleasant.
Yeah.
So you said earlier, the challenge around the medical model, right? So I disagree with you a little bit on that, in that there is value to the medical model, especially if you are an individual with co-diagnoses and you have multiple things to manage that require pharmaceutical support or
we're not talking about medical meaning medicine. We're talking about medical model in terms of language.
Yes, and
like you are broken, you need to be fixed, cured. It's the language
that's shaming language, though. That's shaming language.
Yeah, but that's the medical model. Whereas the social model of disability is where there are barriers, and some are things that are inside of you, but you're not the problem. Society, the barriers around you are the really limiting, disabling things. When those are accommodated, when those are supported, when those are guided, when those are and that can be using with medicine to do that.
Yeah,
you are able to do more things. Those things are ameliorated instead of you being ameliorated. That it's flipping the concept of who is the problem, right? You or society or the things outside of you, right?
One of the things I'm now realizing,
it doesn't take it. Some people think that if you're sick, you need to get well, but the difference is you're not the problem, right?
That's okay.
Like the medicine is the lack of medicine is the barrier. The medicine is the thing that then can support you.
I just had a complete seizure because, and one day we'll put these videos up because this one we might.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what imposter syndrome is. It is telling you that you are the problem, that something is wrong with you.
There you go.
That you right? Somebody said to me, "Oh no, imposter syndrome is supposed to help you realize." What the hell did they say? It was weird. I was going to say dumb, but it was weird. Basically, it's to give you permission to feel how you feel, and to know. And I was like, then just say it's okay. Just say it's okay to have anxiety or be scared or what's wrong with you.
It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to have big feelings.
Yeah, that it's the bigger ideas are what needs to get unleashed, not the things that limit you.
You are so profound every damn time. It pisses me off. But that's it. To me, imposter syndrome creates limits. And every time I talk to you, it also creates an insight for me for the process with my son, right? So if you have never listened before, my son is autistic, ADHD, and dyslexic. And my lovely Betty is also autistic, non-binary, in a wheelchair. So there's intersectionalities all over the place. And what I fought against for my son was them putting imposter syndrome on him. Light bulb, because it was always, if he had an anxious reaction to something, because it was a new thing they want. So, and it's in anytime, I wonder now, anytime they reacted with fear and constraints about him doing something new, whereas I was, hell yeah, like, go do it. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
The administration that I was dealing with, whether it was an organization or school or whatever, saw imposter syndrome where it didn't exist.
Yeah.
It's just, no, he's trying something new, and that creates big feelings.
So imposter syndrome is something that if nobody ever told you about imposter syndrome, you would never experience it.
You know what's the crazy thing?
Other conditions are, you're experiencing them, and something's telling you that you're experiencing them, and somebody can then say yes. But this is something that if no one ever told you, you would never experience it.
You would just use the names of the feelings.
Yep.
And somebody would just go, yeah, me too.
Somebody's put a big blanket over your feelings.
Crazy thing, by the way, hard fact, 2 women came up with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, well, it's
frightening.
Well, the thing is, when you're trying to find a way to over explain something, you're going to use terminology that you're learned. And the 60s and 70s led to people in the people who were trained in the 60s and the 70s began practicing things in the 80s and 90s that were, I would call them the 2 decades of psychobabble. Things are very
100%.
different in the last 2 decades than they were in those
100%.
But there's so many fad ideas, and there's a lot of good research came out of it too. I'm not dismissing everything, but there's a lot of things that are with very poor or no actual scientific evidence got put upon the masses
and became a thing.
And people, you have to understand, there's before this period of time, people weren't allowed to have wild feelings or things in many areas, but they were starting to experience them and trying to branch out. So instead of the patriarchy saying, "Well, back to their kitchen," it's these folks
you
saying, "Hey,
hysteria.
You know what? Let's hold this back. Let's put you like this. It's like, don't feel too much." And these aren't actually feelings that are real. These are feelings that are they're troublesome, right? So like, hold back.
And they come from your uterus. This was the crazy thing about hysteria, is that at the end of the movie, I highly recommend, if you're interested, is to go watch this. It is really good. I was a little hesitant at first, but then when I got through it, I would watch it again. And so towards the end, Maggie Gyllenhaal's character ends up punching out a cop because she's trying to run a transition house, right? So support for people who are in a part of London that are struggling. Her father does not agree because he's like a high-end psychologist and he's constantly trying to shut her down. Mm-hmm. So she gets labeled as difficult and this and this and this. And when they go to trial, because she punches out a cop who manhandles one of her staff, good for her, I say. I never endorse punching out policemen, but when one of your friends is getting attacked, step in somehow. The guy goes through the criteria to be diagnosed with hysteria, and it was about having big ideas and, being unstable and all this other crap. Exactly. I would have been lobotomized years ago. So she fights back, and then Hugh Dancy's character is brought in to confirm that she does indeed have hysteria. Now, we'll go back to what I said earlier, and I wasn't trying to be crass. Literally, the diagnosis and the treatment was to give women, a doctor to give women orgasms. Mm-hmm. This is where the vibrator got invented because
to cure them from this.
This doctor got carpal tunnel syndrome from being so popular at his job. I kid you not. I kid you not.
So he was hands above the rest.
He was hands and knees and heads and toes. And this is what precipitated the invention of the vibrator. But the criteria to be diagnosed with hysteria was being labeled difficult because you didn't follow along with the social norms of being quiet and staying at home and doing what your father said and following the path, right? So the other daughter follows the path, does what her father suggests for her, and so she's fine.
Or is she?
But the socially conscious, socially innovative daughter who doesn't give a shit and wants to help people no matter what.
Yeah.
She's like this far from getting sentenced to the sanatorium and a mandatory hysterectomy because maybe the two prefixes make it the same thing. I don't know.
Well, it is based on that. It is based on the same root because it's that's why the hysteria, the cure for hysteria or the treatment was a hysterectomy.
Because it's your uterus that's causing you.
Yeah.
I mean, my uterus causes me issues, but that's not one of them. And by the way, the uterus does not secrete really any kind of hormone or chemical. If you're going to do that, then, it's the ovaries you need to take. That's another story. So the doctor comes in and he basically says, you know what? After doing this for a little while, he's like, hysteria is a bunch of bunk. He said, these are just bored women whose husbands, don't do their job right. They need something to do. And stop keeping them, let these brave, smart, intelligent, socially conscious women do what they need to do, and then you won't have hysteria anymore. Yeah. And that was the end of that and the invention of the vibrator. Imposter syndrome, stop using language as a barrier to keep people from being at the table and syndromizing or medicalizing normal feelings to doing big, scary things. If you are autistic and social situations give you anxiety, that is valid. Mm-hmm. When you step out of that and you decide to attend a social event, or you decide, even if going to the mall is rough for you, I don't like the mall myself. I'm not saying that in a trivial, demeaning way. Mm-hmm. I find the mall overwhelming sometimes just because, especially on a Saturday.
Or on Christmas.
Oh, I know. Like the plague, I avoid that. I will go in, get what I need to get, and get out. If you take the step, the very brave step to overcome that social anxiety and that barrier, and you have some big feelings around that, you are not an imposter for trying that. Yeah. You are being brave and you are taking massive steps, and that's amazing. And don't let anybody tell you that the big feelings you're having are because you don't think you're worthy to go out in public.
And when I said at the beginning, like how a lot of autistics, the whole Lucy holding the football and it keeps getting, pulled away. And so we feel hesitant about when we're looking like we're getting success, we're getting recognition again. It's not an imposter syndrome. It's not you that's maybe should or shouldn't be there. It's a trust issue that you've had a lot of assholes in your life.
Oh, you did the A word.
Well, we said we were going to say some fracking.
Fracking language.
Yeah, from frackalacking language. We haven't actually.
But it's true, right? It's absolutely true. And when you're doing big and scary things, you are going to have some failures. Yeah. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Yeah. If social anxiety is an issue for you, and you have tried on a number of occasions to go out and be more social or whatever, and it had a bit of a disaster component, which can happen. That doesn't mean you're a failure and you shouldn't be there. Yeah. That means you tried. And maybe, when we did Spark the Change Toronto, which was an agile and change conference, one of the speakers said a great thing, which was, when you try something and you fail, is the issue the idea or the experiment? Mm-hmm. So the idea of going out and being social is a great idea. In the experiment, did you bring somebody with you that you trust who could help you navigate? Or did you just try and go cold turkey and go out on your own? Yeah. Okay, the idea is still valid, but the experiment might need some tweaking to try again.
Variables, change the parameters.
Change the variables to what you need to be successful. And it's the same thing if you are stepping into an arena that is not your usual spot. The idea is still valid and great. From an experiment perspective, who do you need to bring along to help you be successful?
Yeah.
Because when you do it on your own, which I've done a number of times, that's a lot of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big learning curve. It's a big thing to do. And I've lost, I can't even tell you how many hours of sleep trying to get through it. Now that I have a team, it's so much easier.
Well, this podcast is a great example. I mean, for 2 years, I had this idea of doing this podcast of the Autistic Rambler. And I really also had a car accident. This is shortly, I had the idea before the car accident. And then for the first 2 years of the car accident, tried to do stuff with very low ability to do physical things. And podcasting is like, put me in front of a camera and I'll talk about anything. That's great. But having to do the background stuff, it was really challenging. So when, Elizabeth and I were talking about it, we said, well, why don't we just do it? And with her doing
in that voice, is that how I sounded? Like a squeaky mouse?
I don't know. You could sound like this. I could even sound like all kinds of things, All right. But this is the thing, my idea was the podcast. The experiment started with me doing it myself, with me, interviewing a few people like that I could do. And then it was like, okay, doing it with someone, that someone who could do the behind the scenes stuff. And voila, this is probably going to be episode 20 or 21.
19?
No, 19 is what you
we have two we only have one in the can. I have to go find it.
I'm not sure whether this is 19 or 20, but anyways, we're like, this is my idea is happening because I was able to change the experiment variables, and I have somebody who's an amazing co-host, and we have these awesome conversations where ideas flow because the idea has been validated.
Yes. And so I've been podcasting since 2016, and I started on my own because I'm one of those individuals that has an idea, and I'm very fortunate in this life that so far I don't have a ton of constraints other than ADD. What's that?
And time.
So it doesn't occur to me not to try. But this came about because you had an idea to be an advocate and to get involved, because we met through the what's now called the Autism Alliance of Canada, and got to chatting. And then because I had begun podcasting in 2016, I interviewed Maddie as part of the Canadian Journal Autism Equity for Autism. I know I always get it wrong.
Canadian Journal of Autism Equity. CJAE.
Yep. And Maddie was a speaker because they said yes to the opportunity, that they had an idea that they could share their lived experience. So I think what we need to do with imposter syndrome is unpack it and reframe it as idea experiment. And you have an idea to start a business, to take a chance, to, I'm in conversations right now with a major funder to develop and deliver a small tool skills training program as part of that funder. It would be mid-career professionals trying to transition into a new role. For us, it would be specific to trades and advanced manufacturing. And the end of the conversation with the funder. So here was the interesting thing. Other people submitted ideas. So what they do as part of this funding model, and it ties into this, I promise, is they will only fund a certain amount of the same idea, right? Which makes sense. They won't keep infinitely, so his example was cybersecurity. So that is saturated, right? Everybody had the same idea and submitted the proposals because cybersecurity apparently is fantastic. And he has said, we will no longer fund, and we have saturated that market, right? Part of that conversation was because our funding ask needs to move into the next round because we won't have the space that we need in time for this round. And he said, I have to tell you, yours is a very unique idea. Nobody else has submitted an idea like yours. So the chances of you being successful and having access to funding are quite high.
Yeah.
Because I had an idea. We've been percolating on it for 2 years. We've been experimenting with it and validating it in different ways.
Pushing the edges, seeing does it go forward? Does it snap back? Yeah.
And that is the exact same as when you take a chance. That's all imposter syndrome is about taking a chance and doing something new.
And allowing yourself to feel the big feels. I mean, we are, as humans, we are emotional people.
Yep.
Don't buy into the lie that some are logical and some are emotional, because it's dismissive to both.
And you're wise. It is true. Nobody is ever fully left brain, fully right brain. Nobody is ever a fully emotional creature.
A little bit of Spock.
I love Spock.
I love Spock too.
Like live long and prosper. Hell's yes.
Exactly. Oh.
Love him. So this is why it enrages me so much. And I will use the word enrage. This whole syndromizing of taking chances then keeps people from taking chances.
Yeah.
Keeps them from getting involved as powerful advocates like Maddie is. Keeps them from opening new businesses that can help others. Keeps them from submitting ideas because it feels big and scary and nobody else is doing it.
It hides the glass ceiling from the women and autistics who are holding some stones.
Da bomb. That was one of the reasons I got out of, so I used to be in medical office management, which is a fancy way of saying I was a medical secretary, but I hated that title. And that was one of the reasons I got out of it, because after I took the 2-year full-time program, did the job for 11 years in a wide variety. I got up to like the top level of what you could do in that career pretty quickly. Yeah. And then quickly realized that was going to be my life for the next 30 years, was pandering to these doctors and handling whiny patients and whatever. And I was like, this is not my jam.
Yeah.
And I ended up teaching the program for 2 years, which was great, except I was working for a crappy college who was ripping people off, and that violated my moral compass. So out I went. But it didn't occur to me not to apply for the teaching position.
Yeah.
Because I had done the job. I knew I could teach. It was when I became an entrepreneur that this whole imposter syndrome bullshit showed up. And here's the facts, folks, is that out of 7 billion people on the planet, only 10% are entrepreneurs, right? Please don't ask me to do the math. What's that? 7 million people?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that would be 70 million.
70 million people. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of that, 2% of 70 million are women. Okay. Please don't ask me to do the math.
Basically, they can fit on the Titanic.
East. So less than 2% of that, and this is validated stats, are technology founders, which is what I am.
Yeah, they're the ones in the wheelhouse.
Yeah. We're the ones going, lighthouse, God damn it, lighthouse. Iceberg. Idiot. Where's the iceberg? You hit it because I wasn't steering the boat.
I just said Carlsberg. That's why I passed you up here.
So I know what it's like to be in the minority as far as taking those chances and those risks. And what held me back for probably a good 2 years when I started my technology company was people keeping telling me that I had imposter syndrome. How my brain interpreted that was, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
Like, you have no right to be stepping into this arena.
It is a form of gaslighting. Believe a reality that it doesn't actually exist.
It's just big feelings.
Yeah.
It's just big feelings. And I think we need to get away from these life coaches and other people that want to make money off of telling people they have this.
Yeah.
Because I am convinced that that's how this has been perpetuated. I don't think the women who invented the term ever, it's sort of like the godfather of AI. He never figured that it was going to end up potentially taking over the world and Space Odyssey would become a reality.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever anticipated it becoming a medicalized, labelized model.
Yeah.
It was, oh, these women don't feel like they belong and they feel like they're an
It's,
imposter.
the truth is there. The application of a label and then the whole industry that followed behind of it is the problem.
Exactly.
This is the issue with all the pseudo terminology as well as medical terminology. They're all based on nuggets of truth, but they're reframing something on you instead of for you.
100% agree. And as you said that, the pseudo terminology is exactly right. And when you have somebody who's vulnerable, who is having the big feels, they are going to grasp onto something that either makes them feel like they're part of a group also experiencing this imposter syndrome, or they are somebody who finds comfort in a label to understand what they're feeling versus just saying, lots of other people have these big feelings. There's your tribe. And what you're feeling is some anxiety and trepidation and whatever, which is normal. Just say that.
Exactly.
Just say that.
You don't need to create new words when the words we have are sufficient. Don't, there's
Don't add shame.
There's a bunch of little small sayings that I have that I find are enough. You are enough is one.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say I don't know.
Yep.
It's okay to have big feels. These and labels are only helpful when they help you, but we really need to look at supporting the needs and not labels. Labels can be destructive.
And we go back to the itchy underwear, like if you have to write your name in your underwear on the label, I mean, there's other issues afoot because you should know whose underwear you're wearing. I'm going to continue to fight this imposter syndrome label until the day I die.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want anybody to feel that just because you're taking a chance, you shouldn't be at the table. Just because you're being brave.
Yeah, this is definitely one we should put out in video, and even sort of take the transcript and see if we can flop an article around this, because this is a real important topic, and I think that what we've unpacked today is something that really holds us back because it's designed to.
Yeah. 100% agree. And that's what aggravates me more than anything is that when my son was going through public school and high school, there were enough asshats getting in the way and trying to hold him back and trying to use the labels to keep him in the slot and box that they thought he belonged in.
Yep.
And part of my language, I was like, fuck your box. Like, do not under any circumstances tell my son that something is out of reach.
Exactly.
Because if he's willing to apply himself and take the chance, and be brave about it, he knows that his mom and dad have got his back and believe in him, and you are not. What is that? Another movie reference, A League of Their Own, where they go to it's Madonna.
Yep.
Somebody and she
Rosie
says,
O'Donnell, Gina Davis, and a bunch of
but it's a scene there, and she's like, you just go back to Mr. Candyman and tell him nobody's shutting me down.
Yeah, nobody's shutting me down.
Nobody's shutting me down or shutting me down. And this is why I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
We need to stop creating things that prevent people from taking chances. Yeah. And I know I've said this 600 times, but it's really come on. There's enough shit going on in the world.
If you're hearing this right now and you've been feeling that this label has been applied to you, well, right now, take it and rip it off like a Band-Aid that's been on too long. You don't need the Band-Aid anymore.
One of the Ganji ones that's at the edge. Yeah. That's been, you went in the pool
rip it off, and you're going to find that you've healed.
That you what? Sorry?
That you've healed. It was holding the Band-Aid was there, even though the wound isn't there.
Oh, That's like the seventh smart thing today. You're on a roll in between the puns that didn't fly and the wise
Only one
words.
pun didn't fly. Only one.
Two, at least two.
All right, sure.
We tried hard on some of them. But that is absolutely true. I think it's also the anticipation creates the anxiety and the stories we tell ourselves and everything else. But what we need is for people who are in positions of, I'll say, power to support individuals who are struggling with being brave.
Influence.
Is to, pardon me?
Positions of influence.
Influence. I like that.
Yeah.
If you're in a position of influence and somebody's coming to you and says, you know, I want to take this chance. I want to do this big, brave thing, but this is how I'm feeling. Just say, you know what? You have every right to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that. The difference or the challenge is when you let it stop you. How can I help you? Like, okay, here's your idea. That is a great idea. What experiment do we set up to safely move you forward so that you will take the chance and be brave? I'm not telling you might not fail.
Yeah.
If you go through this life and you haven't failed, you're not trying enough stuff.
Yeah.
And good for you if you've failed. We're going to talk about failure on another one.
Failure is part of thriving.
Yeah, man.
It's not part
100%.
of living. It's not part of living. It's part of thriving.
Well, it is part of living as well.
Well,
but
it's part of it's part
when
of
you let
surviving.
It stop you that you stop living.
Surviving or part of thriving. When you're failing and having no support, you're going to be in surviving. But when you're given the opportunity to learn from the failures, you are on the path of thriving, because moving past a failure, failures happen. What you do with it is what can change your life.
And I said that to my son. He was going through his first college experiment, and we set it up specifically to be a low failure impact, in that it built on his desire to be creative and artistic. It was a 1 year, like $5,000 valid certificate from Sheridan. And he was really struggling with the English component because he's dyslexic and he's, executive function deficits. And he was on a real tear about how failure was making him feel. And the summary of the conversation I had with him was, one, imagine going through life and never feeling like you feel right now. And his immediate response was, that would be great. I said, no, Thomas, that's not great. There are people that go through their entire life sitting in their little puddle, never trying anything, and they will die in the puddle that they were born in. I said, you can change how many times you can fail. You can change why you failed. If you fail over and over again for the same reason,
well, that's
dumb. Like, come on now. You need to change the experiment.
You gotta change the variables. Otherwise you're gonna get the same
outcome.
Result.
And then you can change how you feel about failure. If you view failure as an opportunity to grow and thrive and change and take chances, then it's not going to be so scary. And the outcomes when you do fail aren't going to be they won't feel as devastating as they do now, because your mindset will be, I tried.
Yeah. I think the saddest people in the world, and the people that really have that are unhappy in spite of what they have, are people whose focus is on winning everything.
Yeah, you just can't. You never will.
Having a desire to win is great, but having the humility to fail and grow is stronger.
Is thriving.
You have to have the flip side. I love in Inside Out the concept of having multiple emotions at the same time. Yep. Winning and losing are the same side of are different sides of the same coin. But if you always won, you would lose drive.
Yep. Yeah.
If you always lost, you would lose hope. It's the combination of growing. Progress happens at a different pace for different people, but the ups and downs are the reality of life. Our heartbeats go up and down. If it didn't, we'd be
dead dumb. We have to go. I have an 11:30. It's now 11:33.
All right.
Be in trouble. But once again, the wise words of the autistic rambler, Betty Maddie Dever. And I just appreciate your brain so much. And I appreciate the vulnerability and the bravery because you share from personal lived experience. I think we both do, but you got different lenses, right? And I love that we shared this idea, and I love that we experiment every time and come out with cool stuff. I think in the 19 or 20 podcasts we've done, we've had one semi dud, and that's because we just both weren't jiving that day.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but there was still lessons learned. And we'll just continue to experiment on our idea.
Yeah. This has been a great conversation as always. And
wouldn't it suck if I forgot to press record?
It would.
I didn't.
It'd be like, oh yeah,
all that wisdom lost.
But
yeah, we have to scoot. And we got a hard rabbit foo-foo on this one. So thank you for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it. We're going to put some links into that original bicycle face video. And, like many wise people before us, be brave.
Mm-hmm.
And be okay with the big feelings. And don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't be there. Ever.
Yeah. You're there.
Ask for help.
If you're there for any reason, you're there for a reason.
Number 8. Goddamn. We're going to have to put up like a quote page just for Maddie. Thanks, everybody.
That'll be great for my book. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the next one. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate your time. We hope you come back to listen soon. I cannot even begin to tell you what the next topic's going to be because who knows what's going to happen between now and Friday. Exactly. So you'll be surprised just as much as we are every time. So Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us on Across the Desk and our new series, The Autistic Rambler. Please visit spirocareerscanada.ca to learn more about the tools we're building with the autism community, and please visit theautisticrambler.com to learn more about Maddie Dever.